some side control to get the Kimura grip. And then I haven't really been going over too many Kimuras, really. So that's what we're going to start working on, is just Kimuras from here. We're going to set up, if you guys remember those chokes that I did, the bow and arrow choke, the paper cutter, the brick cutter choke, and some other transitions and stuff in it from there. It'll all play into this stuff. Okay. So right here, we're going to start off in side control, and we're going to have their arm on this side of our head. And this is actually where they don't want their arm, because this sets up a lot of stuff for us. Okay. So you're here, you're in your side control, you're hip to hip. Okay. And you notice that their arm is on this side of your head. Okay. So you kind of want to keep their arm on the side of the head. So what you're going to do is you're going to cup just right on the back of their tricep, and just kind of keep your head close to make it somewhat difficult for them to move their arm out of the way. Okay. Your elbows also tight against their side. We're going to start moving our body around north-south, but with his arm here, it makes it kind of hard. It kind of blocks us. Okay. So all I'm going to do is, with my hand here, just going to come and bring it to my hip. And even if he's just blocking there, just catch his wrist and push it down to the mat. I just bring my north side knee up and over. That's it. Like pin. I just pin it with my shin. Okay. Now from there, I'm gonna windshield wiper my legs. So my back leg is gonna come up, and I'm gonna come kind of over my shin here as this one moves off. So I kind of just transfer the leg that's pinning his arm. Okay, so here, I just bring it towards my butt and move it over. So I'm pinning his arm with my other leg. Okay. As I do that, my hands out for base, I'm going to step out. Okay. Bring my elbow up and pull his arm. I'm going to try to pull him onto his side. I'm going to bring my elbow down towards the mat this way. From here, I bring my head low, so I pull him like this. I want to pull him onto his side. And then from there, I drop my knee, kind of pinch here to keep everything tight. With this one, we're going to have to switch our grip. I can't get a Kimura from here. A traditional Kimura. So from here, you lift up, pull his arm up, use your elbow to your side. This arm comes underneath. Here. And then you switch your here. This arm now comes out. So I have this. I'm hugging this arm to me. I'm bringing my arm out. I'm not like, I'm not going like this and just let it flop everywhere. Keep it tight here. And here. Okay. Now with the grip, a few things. This hand, you don't necessarily want it on his wrist. You grab part where his wrist and his palm is. Okay, that increases your leverage here. And you're going to go with kind of a monkey grip. Both grips are monkey grip. Okay. Also, you want your wrist to be curled in like this. That's going to increase your power a lot too. Because most cases you're going to be here, and he's going to be grabbing onto his belt. Because he's going to know, my arm's in trouble. So even if he's grabbing onto his belt at this point, you can still do the same thing. Grab inside, grab here, curl your wrist. Because it's going to make it hard for him. It's going to kind of twist his wrist a little bit when you curl your wrist against his. Okay? Then from here, keep your weight low. Keep your weight on his wrist. Break the grip. You're going to keep your body, you're going to move your body as one unit. You're not going to lift up like this and then pull. You keep your body as one unit, and your whole body comes up and away. And then you finish this one. Okay. Now to finish the Kimura, if you think about it, if you leave his elbow this low in relation to his shoulder, he might be able to go. Flexible guy might be able to go pretty far with his shoulder that way. So he can go here before, right this all glute, and if your body is above his shoulder, and you bring your elbow above his shoulder, you're not going to have to turn much. Okay? And you're turning your whole body. Yes. Okay? It's important, the details of the legs are really important because you have to finish it, you have to move around this way. Okay? So, you're here, you're hip to hip. Push on your hip, put your thumb, just like the V of your thumb, right here on his wrist. Move your leg out of the way, in, bring it up. Okay. Come here, hand off the base, bring your other leg over, like this. That one automatically, step way out, hold your elbow in, and you want to sink your elbow deep this way. So when you pull, sink it down deep. So now he's pretty locked in. My hand's kind of blocking his hip. If he tries to move around a little bit, he's pretty locked in. Okay? As soon as I get this pulled and hip up onto his side, I bring my knee down and tight against his back. Okay? And from here I lift. I have to get this hand under, so I lift. And come under. I bring this hand out, grab the meat of this hand, my wrist. I fix my grip, I roll my wrists. He's more than likely going to have a grip on his belt. So your weight needs to come in. You can put a little bit of weight into your hand, into his hands, and your whole body is going to turn away. Okay? And it might take a couple of yanks. If you fail on the first yank, don't worry about it. Fail on the first yank, it's fine. Let. Use your whole body this way, boom, and then turn your whole body that way. Okay? If if he's real flexible, you can finish. If he's real flexible, like right here, you can finish like this too. You can get more of that emotional. We'll go over the next one. We'll go over that in the next one. Questions on that? Okay, let's give that a shot. Just remember the details with the legs, hitting that. Okay, so this one, you're here and they have their hand where they're supposed to be, in front of your neck. Okay. So with this one, you're gonna start here. You're gonna bring this hand over. It's gonna come underneath this elbow. But as you do it, your weight. See, right now my hip's blocking his hip. As I come over, my weight's gonna kind of roll onto his shoulder. My hip's on his shoulder. And then my knee kind of comes up to block his hip here. I use this arm to lift up so I can sneak this hand underneath, and I'm going to feed it to my lapel. So grab my lapel here. Okay. Immediately, once I get this grip with this hand, coming over here, blocks his hip, so that way he keeps his legs out of the okay. Then my knee, weight over, and bring this knee into his armpit, and as I said, hold. Okay. Now this is the trick is driving off of this foot and pulling him over. Okay, you're using your whole body, my shoulder, everything, pulling it over. My head's still low, and then I bring my knee down. Okay. The cool thing about this variation is that my hands are going to be basically more out of position when I'm ready to get his hand off of my shoulder. To do that, I'm keeping my head low and I shrug my shoulder forward like that. It's actually hard. It's actually kind of decently hard for me to keep his hand there. Like, shrug my shoulder like that. I'm kind of turning my head away a little bit at the same time. Then from there, you catch, okay? In a perfect world, when his hand's there, you would catch it automatically and just go. But most of the time that's not going to happen. So I'll just go right to his belt. And then we do everything the same, okay? The grip rates Everything else is the same. Okay, but for that one, the details are mostly in the legs and where you turn your weight. Okay, so you're here. It's easy to get this. Okay, when I come over, I shift my weight. See how I over on this side? I'm like in this kind of side control. And I shift. My knee comes in. Okay, I'm lifting up. This hand comes in. Feed the lapel to it. Okay, so I have a nice secure grip on his arm. And I block. Okay, reaches over, dive check. Block. Okay. Then from there, this knee, south side, comes up into his armpit as I step over and push, 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 push him onto his side, and then you come down. It's really important from here, when you want to free, you don't just like sit up and reach for it. Keep everything low and control. Shrug your shoulder forward. Grab the knee with his hand. Feed to your other wrist. Okay? Monkey grips. Weight down. This curl. Elbow is tight. You ready? Up. This way. Okay? Any questions on that?
So they're not blocking their hip anymore?
No, this one, it doesn't really matter as much with this one. He's blocking my hip, that's fine. When I come over, I'm kind of smushing that.
Yeah.
Anyways, and then this knee comes up like that, right into his armpit, so it doesn't matter, I'm stepping over anyways. And then there's some other, well, I'll just do it right now. Sometimes when you're going for this one, they'll block, when you're going to step over, they'll block their forearm. And all you gotta do for that is like, okay, say I'm set up here, boom, I got this all set up, and I'm going to step and he's blocking me. So all you gotta really do is bring your knee in and over. And then we're in the same position as we were last time. Okay, then you just butter windshield wiper over, step, roll, like a knee, shrug, grab, finish the Kimura. Okay. So there's ways. That's kind of. I want you guys to practice this one because it'll be too much for the class. So I'll throw that in the next class. How to get out of that kind of stuff. But any questions on just the transitions? Okay, so let's give that a shot and pay attention to where you're putting your weight. This hand, you don't want it up high towards your shoulder, you want it more towards your elbow. Okay, so when I'm here and I reach over and I switch my weight, this arm, I want my elbow more towards the middle or a little bit closer to his elbow. So like when I lift his elbow, when I reach underneath him, I have a good bite on his arm. Okay. If you're up here, it's gonna be really hard to get to your lapel. If you're down here, you're having really good control over his arm. Okay. Also, if I'm up high like this and I switch my weight too much, and he comes on this side of my head and bridges up and away, I'm up. Okay. If I'm up too high. But if I'm down lower, it kind of takes away some of his strength, and it's going to be a lot harder for him to do that. Okay? He won't have enough push on my head. So when you're here, when you switch, come more towards his elbow, that arm. Okay? That's just a detail I didn't stress on the first go around.